When I signed my deal, I felt pressure. Don't wanna see the numbers, I wanna see heaven. You say, could you write a song for me? I say, I'm sorry about you that I believe when I go home.
Hello guys, this is Anime Wizard 101, and last time we left off with Aladdin saying his farewells to Layla and Sasha as he got in the caravan and he left on his journey. So this is where chapter 2 begins, or starts off. So Aladdin is in the caravan and he's having a nice conversation with the lady and her child, and we see that there's this one other person that's in the back of the caravan, and he has barrels right behind him, tons of barrels, so many barrels, like I want to say at least a dozen or two barrels of what seems to be wine. He tells the driver to do something about Aladdin because he's being really noisy and he's making the apples get really dirty, since he's like walking around making a fuss and the dust is picking up. And that's when we get to meet Alibaba for the first time, and he's the driver of the caravan actually. And then he goes to tell Aladdin that he can't have any of the apples that the merchant in the back is having because he doesn't have any money, so he can't pay. So hands off pretty much. And he tells him, if you want money you have to pay, if you want apples you have to pay, if not, too bad. And Aladdin is like, not fair, I want an apple, I'm hungry. And then so Aladdin goes back to his place and he sits down and he starts staring at the merchant in the back. And then Alibaba's thinking, he goes back to get more apples for the merchant in the back, and he's thinking that as long as nothing bad happens in the caravan, nothing dangerous happens, he'll get the full compensation of the travels from this one guy. So as he's going to get more apples, he turns around and he sees Aladdin just with the merchant, and he's rubbing his face on the merchant's boobs, which is freaking crazy and gross because it's not a girl. And then we get to see that more like Aladdin is kind of like a pervert, kind of like the pervy sage from Naruto. And he says like, "Oh sir, your boobs feel weird, and it's weird that you're a guy but you have boobs." And he's just grabbing them and rubbing his face. It's freaking funny. And then Alibaba just say, "Oh, sorry sir, my apologies." And then so they stop for a short break, and then Alibaba explains to Aladdin that if he knows who that guy is, and he tells him that he's a wealthy grape winer, Budol Sama. And since he's the customer of Alibaba, he doesn't want anything to go bad in his journey because he wants to have full pay. And then that's when we get into more of in the chapter we get more into a heavy dialogue. And Alibaba tells Aladdin that he's planning on being a treasure hunter that goes into dungeons and unearth artifacts. So this is the first time we hear about dungeons, and Aladdin doesn't know what a dungeon is, so Alibaba explains to him. So I'm just gonna read what he actually tells Aladdin. So here I go. So he explains that 14 years ago, huge buildings erupted from the ground all over the place without warning. People went in and were shocked to find treasures from ancient dynasties within them. Eventually, people coined the term dungeon for these spots. The treasures within these things are incredible: diamond crowns, sapphire thrones, golden palaces. Even now, there are plenty of artifacts we don't know of, specifically the mysterious magical ones. Holy shit, this magical stuff. So I'm guessing this is what Aladdin was talking about, that he's helping Ukun collect these things. I don't know why they're collecting them, but he's just helping him out, his friend. So he goes on to say, cloth that flies, urns that flow with wine. There are guys all around the world looking for artifacts like these. It's all the rage now. So now that he's finished talking, explaining to Aladdin what all these things are, or what the dungeon is, and then he goes on to say that once he's pretty much Alibaba wants to have money, so he could live in luxury for the rest of his life. And then he goes on to say to Aladdin that, yeah, you could buy food, you could have pretty women, you could have servants. Pretty much life will be good with money. And then as soon as Aladdin hears pretty ladies, he gets all excited. He's like blushing and everything. He's like, oh, they're pretty ladies. And then Alibaba goes on to say that something about kissing girls, and then Aladdin doesn't know what kissing is, apparently. So it's funny to see how Alibaba explains the kissing part to Aladdin, because Aladdin's a little, like, I don't know, 10, 11-year-old kid. And since the other people, the lady in the back and her daughter, are just laughing about the way that he's explaining things, because it's funny. And we get to know that Buro the merchant just laughs at whatever Alibaba just had said, because he says that mice are mice, and there's no way that they could, like, improve their status in life, and the treasure hunting is dumb, and he just starts laughing. And then after that, pretty much Alibaba agrees to whatever he's saying, but we know, or it makes it clear in some of the panels, that he really doesn't share the same opinion as Buro. And out of nowhere, the caravan stops and it collapses. And then there's something that stopped the caravan completely and tossed it, and the wine is flying. The barrels of wine are flying everywhere. Buro's like scrambling to get the wine, and Alibaba's helping to collect the barrels, because, like, he says that Buro is his cash cow and he wants the money. And Buro accidentally, I don't know if it was accidentally or not, it might have been on purpose, as he's going down to get a barrel, he pushes the little girl into the monster. The monster, I think, is called a desert hyacinth. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. And all that Buro cares about is the wine. He just grabs the wine as Alibaba's about to get the girl, and he just shoves him out of the way to get the wine. And the girl falls into the desert hyacinth, and it's so dramatic. The mom is trying to save her kid, and she can't do anything because the other people in the caravan are preventing her from going into the mouth of the monster, of the beast, I guess. And then Buro tells Alibaba to just leave the girl. I'll pay you double or triple the amount if you could just leave right now. And then he goes to the woman that's crying, and then he says, like, this guy's a freaking scumbag, like, he's like the worst. And then he tells the mom, if that child was worth so much to you, how about you make as many as you'd like with me? And then as soon as Alibaba hears this, he gets freaking pissed off, and he just socks him in the face and knocks him out, hitting the barrels. And then Alibaba gets a barrel, and then he jumps into the ditch where the desert hyacinth is. And then he's planning to save the girl, but it doesn't work out, and pretty much Aladdin sees Alibaba in trouble, and he's trying to get Ugo to come out, but the flute's not working. And then Buro is freaking pissed off because he sees that Alibaba took one of his barrels, and then so Alibaba just throws the barrel inside the middle of the mouth of the Hyacinth, because he states that if he could get it drunk, he could be able to save the girl, because the Hyacinth will just go on the ground and hide. But it doesn't work out. He actually gets a girl out and she gets saved, but he gets caught instead. And then he's reminiscing about his life, and he's like, "Oh, I don't want to die here. Is this how it's gonna end?" And then Aladdin, since Ugo doesn't want to come out and because the flute's not working, he grabs his turban, and I guess it's a flying tool, and he grabs all the barrels, all the wine barrels, and he flies on top of the beast, and then he just throws all the barrels inside of the mouth, and the beast just leaves. He leaves. I guess he gets drunk. And he leaves Alibaba safely right there. And then Budo's fucking pissed off because all his merchandise is gone. He's crying. He even passed out. And then so Alibaba's saved, and then the last part of the chapter is how the rest of the people in the caravan are thanking Alibaba because he was able to save the caravan and the girl. And he says that it was his pleasure. And then Aladdin is trying to fix the flute, trying to get rid of the sand, and he finally cleans it, and Ugo's arms come out, and everybody's just scared shitless. And that's how the chapter ends. And I don't have a question of the day today because I'm so tired and I want to go to sleep. I just had 2 finals today, so there's no question of the day today. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and subscribe. See you guys the next time, and peace out.